2, 1. Hello, everyone. Monroe Mann here, coming to you live and direct from Miami Beach in Florida. And yeah, today I almost potentially died skydiving. And I don't think it's completely hit me yet, like everything that happened, but it's my 56th skydive, and I have my B license. So there are 4 licenses: A, B, C, and D. And I have my B license, and when we're learning about skydiving and you go through the training, you learn about all of the different emergency procedures. What's up, Emmeline? How are you? Nice to see you. And you learn about all these emergency procedures while you're learning how to skydive, and all of the different things that go wrong. And you learn when you make sure you pull your main parachute, with enough time to solve problems in case there is a problem. And I train every time I go skydiving. I practice what will happen. What will I do if there's a problem? Will I remember how to get rid of the main parachute? Will I remember how to pull the reserve parachute? Will I be able to solve problems before having to pull that? All of those different things. And today I actually had a major problem with my parachute, and it was scary, and not scary like I still can't explain exactly what happened and what went through my mind. Because I pulled the parachute at 5,500 feet, which was high enough where I had enough time to make a decision. You have to make your decision about whether to try. You can fix your main parachute up until 2,500 feet. Once you hit 2,500 feet, you need to either decide, I'm going to try to land with this parachute, or I'm getting rid of it and I'm going to pull the reserve parachute. And I pulled the parachute at 5,500 feet, and it opened. But there was a problem. There was a tangle with one of the braking levers, and there was a big knot. And all of a sudden, I realized I can't steer. And I was holding this one down like this toggle. Because if I left it up, I'd go into a big spin. And so I'm holding the right toggle down like this, while I'm trying to untangle this knot on the parachute brake line up here. And it's not working. And this is the first time I've ever had a major parachute malfunction when I was skydiving. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this is happening to me. I've only had 55 skydives. Hi, Jalpa, hi, Bulk, Alina, Aiden, Tolicker, Emmeline. Talking about what happened today, skydiving, because I almost died, and I'm grateful that I'm here today and I can give this live stream to you guys, because it was a crazy experience. And so I'm trying to get out this knot, and I'm looking at my altimeter on my wrist, and I'm seeing, okay, like 5,300 feet, 5,000 feet. I can't figure it out. It's not coming undone. This knot is there. And I'm still holding the brake line with this hand on the right side of the parachute. I'm looking down at the drop zone, and I'm trying to stay close to where that is, thinking, my gosh, I got to stay close to the airport. And I'm thinking, stay cool, my friend. Stay cool. Go through all your training. I'm still trying to get out this knot in the parachute brake line up here. And I cannot steer the parachute at all. And it's getting down to 4,500 feet. About 4,200 feet. At 4,000 feet, I realized, hey, what's up, Tetsky from Canada? Zemi, Sebastian, Beal, Jalpa. I'm talking about today when I went skydiving. Today was my 56th skydive jump. And at 4,000 feet, I realized there is no way I'm going to get this knot out of this left brake line. And let me backtrack a little bit. When we are training we got a Trump 2024 fan here, hello. When we are training, they teach you all of the different things that can go wrong. and they teach you the main things. If you cannot fix a problem in your main parachute, this is your main parachute release line, and you're trained to pull it. And when you pull it, your main parachute just goes away, and you start going back into free fall. And then you have to grab the reserve parachute and pull that and make sure that your reserve is released. There's something called skyhook that as soon as you release the main parachute, your reserve is automatically going to go. But as a fail-safe, you should pull the reserve anyway. So that's what the procedures that we've learned how to do. So at 4,000 feet, I'm realizing there is no way this parachute is going to get fixed. And I'm looking up, and then I'm realizing I'm still holding the other brake line here because I had to do that or I'd go into a spin. And I couldn't believe it. At 56 jumps, which is not a lot of skydives, I've jumped out of the plane 56 times, and I've never had any major problems. And most people were telling me that they've had their first main parachute malfunction at 500 jumps, at 1,000 jumps. Some people who at 3,000 jumps, they've still never had a main parachute issue. And at 4,000 feet, I'm holding the brake line like this. I'm looking down at the airport, and it suddenly dawned on me, and I had to think, oh my gosh, I have to let go of this, and I have to actually release the main parachute and go back into free fall at 4,000 feet, praying that the reserve was going to open and it was going to work. By the way, this was just today. That's why I'm talking about this today. Like literally 5 hours ago, I was in the air with the parachute going, oh my gosh, I have to pull the main parachute release lever. And with a great big, I felt like a pit in my stomach. And I was like, oh my gosh, this could be it. Because if it doesn't work, I got no other way to get down to the ground except by just falling. So I said, all right, here we go. Boom. And I pulled it. As soon as I pulled it, I started falling backwards again because the parachute was gone. And then I reached over, I started spinning to my left, and I grabbed the reserve, release, deployment handle, and pulled it. And about 3 seconds later, all of a sudden, poof, I felt the reserve open up. Some people said today that they saw this big redness here. I don't know if you guys see a redness there, but it was really earlier today because the reserve parachute opened with such force that it hurt me. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I hurt my pinky over here. I don't know, one of the lines ended up hurting my finger. It really hurts. I don't think it's broken. Strangely enough, this is the same finger I broke on my 4th skydive when I landed improperly. So it's funny that, again, this pinky. Before I continue the story, let me just read what some of these comments are. Betty said, did you cry? Yeah. So actually, I guess I am finishing part of the story. As soon as that reserve parachute opened, and I tested it just to make sure that it worked and the brake lines worked, I started crying in the air and just thinking, if this thing hadn't opened, that was it. I was done. I was still scared because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I still need to get on the ground. And the adrenaline was going through my body like crazy. But I'm still shook up at it. I don't know if there's a big life lesson here. Usually I give some life lesson. I'll come up with one as I continue this live stream. But it was overwhelming. And I was grateful. I guess there are some lessons. I learned that skydiving is not, it is a safe sport. And because of that reserve parachute and how well it was packed, I survived. And I'm here today. And I will go back skydiving again. But I did cry while after the reserve opened. When I got down and I got my parachute and I walked back into the hangar. And everybody there was clapping for me because everybody saw that my main parachute was gone. And people on the ground saw that somebody had problems with their parachute. And everyone's giving me a round of applause. People coming up to me and said, you did the right thing. It's amazing. Great job. You kept cool under pressure. And so I guess the number one lesson that I learned is when you have a really difficult situation in life and you're really stressed, and literally a life or death situation is what I experienced today. If I did not keep my cool, I probably could have really, really hurt myself or died. If I tried to land that parachute that I had, it would have been really bad because I would not have been able to brake and I might have hit really hard, broken legs, this or that. Let me keep reading. Wow, says Jamel. Israel Har, hello, hello. Minister Henry, I'm Canadian. I love Russia. In the 50s, USA tried to annex the Canadian North in the UN, but Russia used the VDA to save our North. So, fantastic. I love history, and I thank you for sharing that with our viewers here in the chat. Go to the hospital. I think I'm okay for now. I can tell that it's not broken, but tomorrow I'll see how bad that thing still feels. Definitely go check it out. I got 2 people telling me that I should maybe check it out. Perhaps I should. What's up, Violetta? Thank you, my fellow moderator, my thankful moderator. By the way, guys, if you appreciate what I'm doing with the live streams, I hope you'll click like. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. I do these live streams. I try to do it at least 1 per day, and I am grateful that you're here. What's up, Emmeline? And hey, wow, we went down to, it says 1 viewer from this one. I've never gone, in the whole times I've been doing these live streams, I have never gone down to 1 since the first day. The first day it went down to 1. What's up, hey, HR? Now there are 8 people right now. I have no idea how this YouTube live stream works. It's really, really weird. Really weird. Not the hand. Your frame probably got rocked when you transitioned from main to backup chute. Yeah, probably. And it was... It's super weird because people saying, "Oh my gosh, are you are you gonna go skydiving again?" People, and I said, "Absolutely, yeah." And I go about once a month, and I'm gonna go again. And I'm sort of grateful that this happened so soon, because like I said, some people go skydiving for 20 years and they never have to use their reserve parachute. And I'm grateful that I got to use it legitimately, and I learned that the reserve parachute actually works. And the main rigger there, at a skydive drop zone, there is a main FAA, Federal Aviation Administration rigger. He's licensed by the FAA to pack reserve parachutes. So people who he trains can pack the main parachutes, but only he can pack the reserves. And so all of the reserves were packed by him. And it was funny, random conversation I was having with him before I jumped, and he said, hey, because my friend there, I took my friend skydiving, Greg, and Greg was curious about the reserves and whether they work. And Greg said, how often do these reserve work? And Mike said, I've had, in this 8 years that I've worked here, 55 people have had to use my reserve parachutes because their main had a problem. And he said, not one time was there a failure. When I made that decision that, oh my gosh, I have to get rid of this main parachute. And I was about to pull the lever that releases the main parachute. I was literally saying, please do not let me be the one statistic when his main parachute his reserve parachute did not work. So I pulled it and it did okay. Let me see what you guys are saying. Violetta, you've done 50 push-ups for missing your lives. Thank you for doing 50 push-ups, Violetta. Yeah, HR, there were 8 people. Now there are 2. I don't know what's going on. Now 1, now 6, and yeah, I don't know. If someone's saying bad things in the chat, please don't do that, because Violetta will time you out for a little bit and delete your message. But eventually, if you keep doing that, you'll get blocked from the chat. No problem. See you, Emmeline. Great to see you. And anyway, I just wanted to share that with all of you guys. I hope all of you guys will go skydiving, because it is a very safe sport. But it was a crazy feeling today, and I had a ton of adrenaline going through my mind, and I was wondering, should I talk about this on the live stream, or should I just kind of forget about it and put it out of my mind? And I thought, you know what? Let me talk about it, because I think it's helpful for me, and I'm sure there's somebody in the world whether you're watching this live stream now or maybe someone's watching it after I've recorded it who's going to find this interesting. I said I almost died skydiving today. Maybe that's debatable, because even if I had landed that main parachute, I probably would have, maybe good would have been able to land with just broken legs and something like that. I guess why I say I almost died, because if that reserve parachute didn't open or had a malfunction and didn't work, that was it for me, because you only have two parachutes. You got your main and you got your reserve. Have any of you ever gone skydiving? I hope you'll share that in the chat. I'm curious to know. And even if there are just 3 people here, I'd love you, the remaining 2 people, if you guys could click like, because that will encourage more viewers to come into the chat. The main lesson that I got from this, again, was, what do you say nope? What do you mean nope? Oh, your grandma has. Okay. Talk to your grandma. I've been skydiving 3 times. I've never once jumped willingly. What's up, Furry Fatal? So let me ask you this. So you did 3 tandem jumps? Is that what you're telling me? Or did you do 2 tandems and you did your first jump with your own parachute? I died last time I went. What's up, Air da guy? Yeah, shoot a deer. No, funny screen name. Tell me about the experience when you went skydiving. I'm very curious to hear about that. What was fascinating is I had 3 of my friends go today. 2 of them were going for the first time. One of them was going for the second. And they were there. One of them was in the sky in the tandem with the parachute and the instructor. And his instructor said, "Go look over there. Look, someone just got rid of their main parachute." And then he was like, "Who was it?" And the guy said, "Oh, do you know a guy named Monroe?" And my friend goes, "That's my friend. That's my friend." He's like, "What happened? Is he okay? Oh my God." So he said he was so stressed out for me too, because he goes, "Oh my gosh, that was you who lost his parachute." Furry Fatal, 2 tandem, 1 by myself. Got kicked out of the plane by a buddy because I was being a sissy. Oh my gosh. You got kicked out of the plane? I'm very curious about that. Like, you're serious? Like, which one did you get kicked out of the plane? But your first one by yourself? I'm really curious that story, Furry Fatal. And Violetta, I'm glad you have theater camp. That is fantastic. I hope you have a wonderful, awesome time at theater camp, and we'll find someone else to be moderator instead. And so you got, well, I've heard of people pushing people out of the plane and stuff like that. So interesting to meet someone who's actually had that happen to them. I want you guys to know that you should go skydiving. Literally, I had people come up to me and say, "I've gone 3,000 skydives, and what happened to you has never happened to me. I've never had to use my reserve." Everyone was coming up and going, "What was it like? How did it feel? Was it scary? And did this, did that?" And you're like, as soon as the reserve opened, what went through your mind? And I'm trying to think too, I was in the military, and I was in Iraq in the Iraq War, and that was, of course, a very stressful thing. And part of me is just thinking, did my experience? People ask, "Were you scared? Were you scared?" And it was weird. I wasn't scared. It was just like I was doing mathematical calculations in my head, and just thinking, okay, I'm at 4,000 feet. This knot is not coming out, and literally just thinking, what's the likelihood that this reserve works? And everyone's been telling me over and over again, reserves, you never hear stories of people having a reserve parachute that doesn't work. I mean, if you search online and say, find issues of where reserve parachutes don't work, it's very few and far between. Most of the people who die from skydiving, when they have an issue, it's because they don't make a decision to get rid of the main parachute quickly enough. And they just hold on, and I don't know if you guys know, there's a computer in most parachutes. Not everybody has them, but this parachute has a computer that if you're falling at a certain speed, if you're going more than 100 miles per hour, at around like 2,000 feet, it'll automatically deploy the reserve parachute. How could that be a problem when I'm at 4,000 feet and the main parachute is already open and I'm already going at a slower speed because the parachute is open? As soon as you get rid of your main parachute, for about 4 seconds, you go back into free fall and you start falling and you start picking up speed. And what could happen is if that computer, if you get rid of your main parachute, like at 2,100 feet, and that computer is set to 2,000 feet, you start accelerating again, that may, actually, I guess in that situation, it's not going to be a problem, except if I'm trying to think, there's something called a 2-out. Maybe I'm explaining it wrong. I'm not 100% expert, but like there is an issue where you can have 2 parachutes released at the same time. And that could cause a serious problem. But I would say anyone, I always pull at 5,500 feet, where some of these people who are more experienced and they get their licenses, they immediately start pulling at 3,500. I'm so grateful I didn't do that because by pulling so high all the time, it gave me enough time to stay calm and to figure out, okay, this is going to be okay. The parachute is working right now. I'm not falling, even though I had to hold this right toggle to keep from spinning. I was high enough that I was able to think and take deep breaths and go, all right, what's going to happen? Like, what can you do here? And I said, you cannot fix this. This is not going to get fixed. And I'm thinking, okay, how much time do you have to make a decision? I was at 4,000 feet. You need to make a decision whether to keep your main parachute or get rid of it and you go to your reserve parachute. That's at 2,500 feet. So I had 1,500 feet more to make that decision. I think a lot of people get anxiety at that point, and I understand, because they don't want to get rid of their main parachute and use the reserve. Everyone was always telling me during training, trust your reserve parachute. Trust that the rigger who packed it did a good job, because you don't want to land on a main parachute that you cannot steer and that has no brakes. That sounds obvious. You don't want to be in a car on the highway going 60 miles per hour if you cannot steer and there are no brakes. That's a decent analogy. And so I had to just make that decision. And I'm grateful I made that decision with a good mind and said, all right, this is it. Let's hope that this thing works. And it did. And here I am. Let me look at some of these comments. Furry Fatal said, wow, that's awesome. What does that mean? You said, wow, that's awesome. What are you referring? What's a UM? Violetta, you asked a UM? I'm just kidding. You're doing better than I ever have. What do you mean I'm doing better than you ever have? What does that mean? By the way, my live streams always have a main topic. But in the chat, if you want to change the topic or talk about something else, I'm happy to go off on little tangents and then try to bring them back into the main topic, which was the fact that I almost died today. What's a good lesson for life? I realized today that I worry about a lot of things that I shouldn't worry about. Oh, I said, Yes, you're right. I should not say, By the way, that's a public speaking thing that I was talking about with Violetta. When you're doing public speaking or when you're doing live streaming, when you're giving a presentation, you don't want to say, like, whatever, because it makes you sound unprofessional. If you notice, instead of saying, what do? I pause. And that's what I always recommend people do when they're speaking. If you don't know what to say, keep your mouth shut and pause for a little bit. Hi, Furry Fatal said, you were talking about a computer that would detect a drop when it shouldn't and deploy the reserves. Tech is my thing, so that was cool to me. Awesome, Furry Fatal. Where do you live? I'm curious. And where did you go skydiving those 3 times? So that little tech is called an AAD, which is an automatic activation device. And that automatic activation device is a really important piece of equipment. I do not know why some people don't have it. When does it come in handy? The biggest situation, the 2 situations. Let's say you are so preoccupied with something else going on in the skydive. Let me tell you about the free fall. That's another story that happened today. It was also quite scary. I'll tell you about the situation. This is where an AAD could come in handy. It didn't happen today because I was keeping a good eye on the altimeter. But the AAD will trigger the reserve. It's like a little explosion that happens back here. If you're going more than 100 miles per hour or whatever you set the computer to, at whatever altitude, so usually around 2,000 feet, it'll automatically deploy the reserve parachute. When would that come in handy? Today, when I jumped out of the airplane, suddenly a huge cloud just came right under me. And I was free falling for the entire 55 seconds in complete cloud. And it gets chilly in a cloud. So first you're feeling weird because you're chilly. Then it gets very wet because you're in a cloud. And what is cloud but condensation? So I'm falling through this cloud, it's chilly, and it's getting wet. Because of all the condensation, my helmet, the visor got all fogged up. The only thing, I cannot see anything. Imagine what it's like in a cloud or whenever you're on an airplane, if you go through a cloud and you cannot see out the window. Imagine you are the airplane and you cannot see out your windshield of your glasses or your visor. And the only thing I have to know where I am is the altimeter on my wrist. And it was going 12,000 feet, 11,000 feet, 10,000 feet, 9,000 feet, 8,000 feet. And you're not supposed to go through clouds as a skydiver, and you're supposed to avoid that. And I found out that the person who's gonna jump after me, who's training in the program, the instructor said, we're not jumping. Because right when I jumped, the clouds just came in. And so he went down in the plane. It was really bad. That's a situation where the AAD could come in handy. Because let's say I was hyperventilating a little bit, going, I can't believe I can't see. I can't see out of my visor. All I can barely see is the altimeter, which I could barely see because it was so foggy. What if I didn't remember to pull the parachute because I got so scared? What if I couldn't see my altitude and I thought it was at 5,000, but it was really at 2,000? Boom. That AAD computer, automatic activation device, would go boom and open the parachute. The other time when an AAD comes in handy is, let's say you jump out of the plane and for some reason you pass out. That could happen. All of us have maybe felt faint at some time in our lives. Or what if you have a heart attack or you have something happens, a seizure, and you pass out? The AAD will make sure that the reserve parachute opens even though you are passed out. And the reserve parachute is usually bigger than the main parachute. So you're likely to, even if you don't use the brakes, you're likely to land relatively softly. So that's why I don't understand why some skydivers don't use an AAD, because I think it's just dangerous and I think it's risky. I just want to get this little thing to let me check how many. One time I was doing one of these live streams 4 days ago, and I'm just talking like this, and boom, the whole screen went back, and then I went, oh my gosh, what happened? The battery died on my phone, and the whole live stream just got cut off. So if you do YouTube live streams, make sure you're either plugged into your phone or you are regularly checking your phone battery. Let me look at some of these comments. Arizona. Oh, that's a beautiful place to go skydiving. I think you can go year-round there, and imagine the scenery is just beautiful, looking at the mountains and the desert. 2 people that live in Arizona. Indeed. Wait, Violetta, do you also live in Arizona, or is there somebody else from prior chats who lives in Arizona? Yeah, Furry Fatal, that device is helpful for an emergency. Absolutely. I'm surprised more people aren't interested in what we're talking about today. Maybe the topic is just way too specific. Usually my live streams are a little bit more generic, and today we are talking about something very specific, which is skydiving. But I was going back to what I learned today about this, about, like I said, potentially dying today skydiving and having a problem with the main parachute. I think And what I learned from being cool, when I had this problem and I was calm, and I decided I'm not going to panic. I'm going to figure out the situation. I went through all of my options and I made a clean decision. And it worked. Here I am. I landed safely. How does that apply to our lives in general? We all have to deal with stressful situations. We all have to deal with something that we unexpected, something, and it's not only unexpected, but stressful. And oh my gosh, I never expected this to happen, this disaster. I'm hoping I can remember the lesson from today is stay cool, stay calm. If you start to panic, that's when you're gonna have a problem. And I was talking before about why it was important that I made the decision that I pull my main parachute at a higher altitude than most people, because I always want to have time to make decisions if there's an emergency. Many skydiving accidents happen when people have a problem with their main and they wait until they're like at 1,000 feet to say, you know what, I'm not going to land this. I want to use the reserve. But if you get rid of your main parachute at 1,000 feet, you are so low that you're probably going to hit the ground before the reserve parachute opens. And guess what? You die. And that's happened many, many times before. And so I'm proud of myself, because a lot of the skydivers who also got their licenses are opening at 3,500 feet because they want to get an extra 5 or 10 seconds of free fall. And honestly, I don't know if they would be able to have made the decision process that I did in only 1,500 feet of to make a decision. So the lesson for all of us is give yourself a lot of wiggle room. If you only have $500 in your savings account and your monthly expenses are $3,000, that's like jumping without an AAD, and it's like pulling your reserve at 1,000 feet. You're taking huge risks and you might die. You should have 6 months of expenses saved up in your banking account, your savings account. Other examples, like you shouldn't be driving at 80 miles per hour on the highway without a seatbelt. It's just stupid. Why would you take that risk? And so I'm reminded again, it's good to be safe. It's good to take risks. I understand skydiving is a risk, but it's also good to take precautions to make sure you don't end up in a really, really bad situation. So I want you to think about things in your life where maybe you're taking too big of a risk. I meet so many people who quit their jobs and just start a business. And what happens to 9 out of 10 businesses? They fail. I live in Miami Beach right now, and I'd say every month I'll walk down the streets and there'll be another restaurant that is closed down. Some of them are restaurants that have been here for a long time. Some of them are restaurants that opened up 3, 4, 5 months ago, and they've closed so quickly. Why? Because I don't think they planned it out well enough. I mean, most businesses don't really become profitable until the 3rd year, sometimes the 4th year. So if you don't have enough money saved up in the bank to make sure that you can pay the rent for the restaurant space for many, many months, you're taking a huge, monstrous risk. And so that's the first lesson from my near-death experience today, is plan anything you do in life. Make sure you plan for failure. Make sure you assume that something is going to go wrong and give yourself enough time, money, whatever, so that you can calmly get through that situation. What's up, that girl, Jalia? Great to have you back. I almost died today skydiving. Crazy. I pulled my main parachute and there was a problem with it. And I had to get rid of the main parachute. It was the first time I ever had to do that. And I had to pull the main parachute, release it, go back into falling, and then have my reserve parachute deploy. And it was a stressful day. And I'm just sharing with you guys some of the lessons that I learned from today that I hope you guys will learn as well. The number one is plan for failure, because it could happen. It may not happen. I hope it does not happen. But you don't want to be that person where failure does happen and you haven't planned for a contingency plan to figure out how to make that work. It reminds me, I want to save up even more money in the bank. Even though I'm pretty good at saving, I want to save even more. Sometimes I go out with my bicycle without my helmet on. It makes me think maybe I should wear my helmet every single time I ride my bicycle. Usually I only ride my helmet. I'll show you my bike right here. That's my mountain bike. As you can see, it's a pretty cool mountain bike. I love riding really, really fast and up hills and up over rocks and boulders and all that. When I do that, I wear my helmet. But when I just drive around Miami Beach, I don't put it on. And I'm thinking maybe I should. Because what that one situation where some car is going really fast and doesn't see me, and I don't see the car and they hit me, it's probably smart that I'm wearing my helmet. So I think I might start wearing my helmet every time I ride a bike. Let me read some of these comments. Jalia, I'd be so scared screaming at the top of my lungs. As I said, Jalia, I actually, after the reserve parachute opened, I started crying while I was up there because I was so grateful that it worked. And there was so much stress and adrenaline going through my body. I mean, I haven't felt that type of, oh my gosh, like I haven't felt like a life and death decision like that since I was in Iraq with the U.S. Army back in 2005. I mean, this was, whoa, absolutely bonkers. Violetta, I won a $300 mountain bike for a school drawing contest. Whoa, thumbs up there. Do you like to ride your bicycle? I know you said you do weightlifting and you can bench a lot. Do you also like to ride your bicycle? That's a great form of exercise. I love bike riding. I like it more than walking. I like it more than running. I might even go on a bike ride after this live stream because I still got so much energy and adrenaline in my body. I'm still kind of shook up about it, and I'm still kind of in a funky mood. Thank you for the new like. What do you guys think? Like, why were there were like 25 people here at first, and then it went down to 3. Is it because this topic is way too specific and people aren't interested in something like skydiving so specifically? Because usually I'll get, as you guys know, I'll get at least 10 to 15 people. I don't know. Violetta says, I don't have a great place to ride it. Lots of hills, dirt roads, and I'm not that great of a biker. Think about it here. I live in Miami Beach. I'm from New York and Maine, where I could ride my mountain bike actually in mountains. And now I'm in Miami Beach, where it's just flat everywhere. And I still make do. You can find hills, Violetta. If you can find. Oh, you're saying where you live, there are a lot of hills and a lot of dirt roads. That's the most perfect place to ride a mountain bike, Violetta. Come on. I'm so jealous of you. I live here where there's nothing. It's just flat, and I'm by the ocean. Less people equals less recommendations. That is true. But I don't understand why we had like 22 people here initially. Yesterday, we started with like 6, and we went up to like 30 people. And the 30 people, they were there the whole time. I had a guest yesterday. That might be why. And maybe the topic was more general. We're talking about near-death experience on skydiving. Maybe it's not as interesting to a lot of people. I don't know. There's a 4th person here. I don't know who just joined. Hope, are you brave enough to say hello in the chat? Let us know who you are. If you're not brave enough to say hello, I hope you'll at least give a like. Hey, what's up, Gorilla Tag Boy? How are you? Great to see you. It's nice to see people that I recognize here. I appreciate the support. Good to see some familiar faces. And what's up, Federico D? Federico D, I know you. What's up, buddy? And yeah, so I'm telling everybody about my near-death experience today, Federico skydiving. It's pretty crazy. I love skating. I have 4 rollerblades. Rollerblades are cool. I used to have rollerblades when I was younger, and I see so many people doing rollerblading here in Miami Beach on the boardwalk. And it always makes me think maybe I should go, if not buy a pair, at least rent a pair so I can go give it a try again and see what I think about it. And Violetta, you just went skating today. That's cool. I'm glad you guys are both getting some exercise. Federico, thanks for joining. Appreciate that. I fell on my face, making my nose bleed. Oh my gosh. So you had a difficult day too. I am sorry to hear that. I hope we can get 4 likes. My mission actually is to get 5 likes. I want to get at least 5 likes on this live stream. Yesterday, we got 32 likes. 32 likes on one live stream of an hour and 20 minutes. It was mind-blowing and I got 18 hours of watch time. Crazy. Federico's been here for a while lurking. What's up, Federico, the spy? Thanks for lurking. Appreciate it. Honestly, I don't think that the number of people that are in here, it says there are 3. I mean, there are clearly 4 people who are I think it's I don't think it's 100% accurate. So the other lesson, I'm trying to think of what another lesson that I learned from today. One of the guys I went skydiving with, one of my friends that came up there, Alexander, because we went to Wendy's afterwards. I mean, the 3 friends they were like, I can't believe that happened. Dude, I can't believe it. I saw it, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, and I was talking to him, I said, I'm just really happy I'm glad this actually happened on my 56th skydive, because now I know that the reserve parachute works. And I was also telling her how proud I was that I stayed very calm in a very stressful life or death situation today. And I was able to follow the emergency procedures that I learned and that I practice every day before I go up in the plane. And he said, I think the lesson today is trust the process. And we were talking a little bit more, and that's where I was saying that I think all of us get too stressed out about things that are happening in our lives when we shouldn't be getting stressed out. The more crazy a situation gets, the more you need to just take a deep breath and go, all right, let's see what we can do. Let's try to find a solution. Rather than panicking and going, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to me. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. This is just crazy. Because when you do that, you can't think clearly. And all of us in our lives have things that happen to us that we did not expect and that overload the stress hormones in our body and make us just go crazy. I was so proud of myself. I am so proud of myself that in this very difficult situation, I kept my cool. I'm telling you, while I'm trying to get this knot out of this brake line on the parachute, I am thinking to myself, I cannot believe this is happening to me. I only have 56 skydives. I am not that experienced. Why is this happening to me? But at the same time, I said, stop asking yourself why and start finding a solution, because this is happening. And asking why is this happening is not going to solve the problem. And I'm laughing because it's a thing that we all do. When anything, in relationships or with life or with a job or with money or with friends, why is this happening to me? Why me? Who cares? It's happening to you. So figure it out, take a deep breath, and try to find a solution. And as Alexander said, trust the process. What I meant by that too is things may not be going well for you right now, or you're going through a difficult time. Trust that things are going to work out. Trust that you are going to find a solution. And I'm reminded now, I kind of feel like the next time I'm in a very difficult, stressful situation, I'm going to just remind myself, Monroe, you've gotten through a parachute failure, skydiving. Just trust the process, be calm, be collected, and you will find a solution. And thank you for the likes. We're up at 5. That was my goal for this one. If we can get to 6, that would be absolutely bonkers. That would be great. If not, I'm happy with 5. Thank you for you guys for joining. Let me see some of these comments. 56. Yeah, 56 skydives. And I have in my logbook for 56, first cutaway, parachute failure. Literally, I felt like a rock star in the hangar afterwards because everybody heard about it and like, dude, you did a first cutaway. Dude, you did so well. Congratulations. It's so great to see you. I'm glad you knew you did the right thing and you survived this crazy thing. Thanks, Gorilla Tag Boy, for liking. Thanks, Violetta, for thanking Gorilla. There's actually a hole in my leg. You have a hole in your leg from skating? Tell us more. What the heck happened? How do you have a hole in your leg from skating? Zaire, my good buddy. Great to see you. Nacho, hey, what's up, my friend? There are all these people here, and it says there are only 2 people. On my screen, it says there are 2, and yet there are 4 people chatting. Super weird. Thanks for the 6th like. Well, let me go back to Gorilla Tag Boy. You said, bro, thanks for teaching me. Are you talking about just in this general thing to teaching you? Yeah, you're welcome. I'm happy to teach you. No, the parachute opened. But when I went to pull both of the brake lines down, this one came down fine. This one got stuck and got put into a knot. And I tried for 5 to 7 minutes to get the knot out. What's up, CLVR? How are you? Great to see you. And I say great to see you because literally today I almost died. And so it's literally great to see you. Great to be here. And I was trying to get the knot out of the parachute brake line, which is the line that you use for braking and you use for actually going left and going right. And I could only go right with my parachute, and there was no way for me to brake. So it was really stressful. And of course, my altitude is going down, down, down. And at 4,000 feet, I just realized there is no fixing this. And I had to come to the scary realization, Monroe, you have to get rid of the main parachute, start falling again at 4,000 feet, and then pull that reserve parachute. And I mean, just talking about it, it's my heart is beating a little bit. I've got a pit in my stomach because having to make that decision and going, I'm actually getting rid of my main parachute and hoping that this reserve parachute is going to open. And oh my gosh, it did. And when it did, I told you guys I was crying, not bawling, but it was just like such a release of stress, of pressure and anxiety. Like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this thing opened. And I was so glad that I'm going to be able to land and live another day. Nacho says, what's the relationship between breakdiving, skydiving, and braking while skydiving? So, breakdiving, remember, breakdiving is my philosophy. My philosophy of success. Don't wait for opportunities to float to the surface. Instead, breakdivers dive in to the cold, icy, and shark-infested waters of resistance and make their own big breaks in life. And the philosophy we have the breakdivers creed: no rules, no excuses, no regrets. So the answer to that question is, I went breakdiving today when I went skydiving. No rules, no excuses, no regrets. Go live your life. I was breakdiving while I was skydiving when I had that problem because I had to come up with a solution and I had to figure it out fast. Do I continue trying to fix this knot, or do I get rid of the main parachute and trust that the reserve parachute was going to open? So that was brake diving. No rules, no excuses, no regrets. I didn't want to keep messing around with that. And everyone always said that the reserve parachute is, the main parachute is 97% likely to work every time. The reserve parachute, 99.9% likely to work. And so I think of no rules, no excuses, no regrets. No regrets, boom, I'm pulling that main release. And then braking while skydiving. That was when the reserve parachute opened and I realized I survived and I started crying. So I had a little bit of a breaking down while skydiving. By the way, thank you all for joining me. I don't know if there's a seventh person here. We could give a seventh like. That would be awesome. If any of you would want to subscribe to my channel, if you haven't, thank you. Let me read this. Stay safe out there when you're skydiving. That's right, Gorilla Tag Boy. CLVR wrote, "Oh no, that would be bad." Yeah, it was a little bit crazy today. That is terrifying. How did you get rid of the main parachute? Yeah, so once the main parachute is opened, you have this red thing that you grab here. And if you want to get rid of the main parachute, you grab it with both hands and you just pull it down. And when you pull it down, it releases these rings right here. And when it releases the rings, boom, the parachute itself just leaves your body. And actually, that was an interesting thing. As soon as I released that main parachute, and then the reserve parachute opened, I saw somebody really close to me with their parachute. I mean, super close, and it scared me how close this person was. And then suddenly I realized that's not somebody else. That was my main parachute that was floating in the sky. But at any rate, the main parachute floated down and they were able to find it. And then the reserve parachute opened. And there's a device called a skyhook on most parachutes today. Meaning, if you don't have the skyhook, when you pull the main, it releases the main, but it doesn't deploy the reserve. So that means you release the main, but then you're falling again, and then you have to manually release the reserve. My parachute has something called that skyhook. So if it works, when you pull the main, as the main disappears, it pulls the reserve out automatically. But there's a possibility that doesn't work. So what I did is also grab the reserve handle, so while I released the main, I started to fall again, and then I reached over and grabbed the reserve release handle, and that actually deployed the reserve if the skyhook didn't work. That's another lesson that I learned today about skydiving. I knew this theoretically before, but today I learned there are so many redundant mechanisms that you are very likely to survive any skydive as long as you follow the safety precautions, as long as you keep your cool, and as long as you follow the various procedures that you learn when you're training. Let's see what this says. You can do 200 sit-ups now. Wow, CLVR. How many, when you say 200 sit-ups, because I can't do 200 sit-ups in one sitting. I'll do maybe 50 sit-ups, take a break. Then maybe I'll do another 50 sit-ups, take a break. And then maybe later in the day, I'll do another 50. I mean, did you do 200 back-to-back sit-ups? Because that's very impressive. Violetta says, there was a stick in the ground and I fell on it. It stabbed my leg and then poked some skin out. Then when it healed, there was a hole. Poof. I hope you will continue to go rollerblading and continue to go bike riding because, what do you say? No pain, no gain. And I like skydiving. I'm going to go skydiving again because, hey, those are some of the risks that you need to take, that maybe sometime your main parachute will have a problem and you need to deploy the reserve. Yeah, I agree. That must have hurt, CLVR. It did. Please don't cuss in this live. Yeah, guys, just remember that we want to keep it a family-friendly environment. That one is not necessarily a super curse. That's not a big deal, but let's try to keep it 100% family-friendly. Nacho, you're going to keep the main parachute as a token. I always use rental parachutes. So, by the way, we got 6 likes. So, thank you for whoever gave the 6th like. That is fantastic. I actually have to buy when you deploy your reserve parachute your first time. You have to buy beer for everybody. I could bring a case of beer the next time you go to the drop zone. And I'm actually going to get the guy that packed my reserve parachute. I'm getting him. I asked, what's the type of wine that you like? And he said there was this type of vodka. So I'm going to get this type of vodka for this rigger, because if it weren't for him packing my parachute perfectly, that reserve, I wouldn't be here today. So I'm grateful that he packed it with such care and such precision that that parachute opened without a problem. Nacho, what's up, Zaire? 50 at a time. Good. Yeah, 50 at a time. By the way, whoever just joined, we're talking about sit-ups now. I always start off with a main topic, a main theme, which was me almost dying today skydiving when my parachute had a problem. But now we're talking about CLVR, who did 200 push-ups today, doing 50 at a time. And I think that's fantastic. By the way, if anyone could give us one more like so we get to 7 likes, that would be fantastic. Maybe there's a possibility we can get to 10 likes today. I don't know. We'll have to see if more people join the live stream. I can do 300 with no... Zaire, you can do 300 sit-ups with no break? Are you serious or are you joking? I'd really like to know that, because is there anyone here that can do 300 sit-ups with no breaks? I can't do 300 sit-ups with no breaks. I can't even do 300 crunches with no breaks. So if you can do that, you're amazing. What's up, Gorilla? Why is your name blue? Yeah, he's a moderator. Yeah. And do you guys have any questions for me about anything? Like I said, if there's something that interests you. All right, Zaire, how the heck can you do 300 sit-ups in one go? Is it just that you have abs of steel? Are you Iron Man? Are you Arnold Schwarzenegger? I think that's amazing. And if you could, I'll tell you this, Zaire, if you can do 300 sit-ups in one go, you should do a YouTube live showing us doing that, or make just a video of you doing that, because that would inspire a lot of people. Somebody took back their like. Now we have 5 likes. Now it's back. We have 6 likes. This place is so weird. This YouTube live thing is weird. It doesn't tell you the true number of people that are actually here. The number of likes keep going up and down, and I don't think anything I'm saying is so bad that somebody would want to remove the like, but sometimes they do. Crazy. Yeah, I'm serious. Abs of steel. Fantastic. Well, you inspire me. Guys, maybe we should all take on the Zaire Brown 300 sit-ups in one session, abs of steel challenge, and see if you can do that. I'm more thinking about it. I don't think I can do it. I mean, even when I was in the military and police academy, the most sit-ups that I could do in one sitting when somebody was holding my legs was about 85. But it was also the most sit-ups in 2 minutes, or most sit-ups in a minute. Maybe if I do it very slowly, I could do 300 at one time. I'm going to try it as an experiment. Maybe we could all try it as an experiment, and the next time we're doing a fitness live, or next time live, we can share in the chat how we all did on our 300 sit-ups in one sitting challenge. Let me just make sure my battery is 70% battery. I'm still good for a little bit longer. Yeah, there are 5 likes now. Now there are 6. What is going on? Are you guys seeing this? The likes just keep going up and down, up and down. Paint is delish. You're eating paint? Why are you eating paint? Very funny. So some summary lessons from today. I feel so weird. I have to tell you, I feel super weird. I don't think it's really hit me like the crazy this that just happened. Thank you for you guys who just joined. Thank you if you could leave a like. Thank you for subscribing. My name is Monroe Mann. Today I had a near-death experience when my parachute had a problem, and we're talking about that. We're talking about fitness. We're talking about paint plus red hot pepper. Violetta, I have no idea what that means. Glue. No, we're not. No one should be eating glue. No one should be sniffing glue. That's bad advice, guys, for everybody. And we were talking about how Zaire says that he did 300 sit-ups in one sitting. And I'm now going to see if I can do 300 sit-ups in one sitting too, because it seems like it's really difficult and sincerely impossible. And that's why, Zaire, if you could put that on a video, it will inspire people. I know if I saw someone doing 300 sit-ups in one sitting, I would totally be like, oh, I get it. I see how this is done. And you're eating chips and pepper, though. Pepper, very good. All right, so random comments in there. Lessons from today. Don't let anxiety and fear and stress remove your calm. You need to stay calm always in life. And I'm going to try to apply that to everything that I do moving forward, because it'll serve me and it'll serve you guys too really well. I think another lesson too is after you've had a traumatic experience, it's okay to take a little break. And I realized, I just told you guys that I still feel super weird. I still feel weird about what happened. I kind of feel like I'm in some twilight zone. My head is still kind of weird. I'm floating around. And I think it's because, hey, something absolutely bonkers and crazy just happened to me today. And so I have to remind myself, Monroe, today was a different day. It's not business as usual. It's not, okay, just get back to normal life. It might take me a day or two to process what just happened. You have the same issue. There are situations in your life when you go through something very stressful, and you may take a few days to kind of chill out. They call something, PTSD. I was in the Iraq War, and how do I know that I have PTSD? Because anytime there is a loud noise, I get very scared. When a door slams, it makes my heart beat. When a waiter drops a bunch of glasses at a restaurant and they all shatter, my heart starts beating. When fireworks go off, my heart starts beating. If I know that it's going to happen ahead of time, it doesn't bother me. It's when it happens and I don't know. I hate, if I go to a fireworks show now and I know that it's going to go loud, I can handle it. If all of a sudden fireworks start going off and I didn't expect it, it still takes me back to Iraq, and I think there are bombs being dropped or there's a car bomb going off. And many of the folks who were in Iraq with me, I talked to them, they have the same experience. It's a traumatic, stressful experience. Today was another form of some type of stressful experience. I don't know if it's as traumatic as me being in Iraq with the bombs, but I think it's up there. It was damn scary. I never cried in Iraq, which is crazy. I cried here when the reserve parachute finally opened, it's just a weird thing. And what I'm telling you is, if you have something crazy that happens to you in your life, a car accident, a breakup, someone really just breaks your heart and it's like a stabs in your heart, a death in the family, a big financial failure, like you just lost $100,000 in the stock market or something like that. What did Gorilla Tag Boy say? Because Zaire, because usually he's being okay, but yeah, guys, I don't know what stuff is being said there in the chat. Zaire, what did Gorilla Tag Boy say that you timed him out? Let me know. Because he's been pretty good for most of the time here in these chats. When something crazy happens to you in your life that is stressful, don't go back to business as usual. And don't say, I'm fine, everything's good. I kind of feel like I'm okay. But you don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm still processing it. I have a little funny feeling in my stomach now. Maybe it's just I'm hungry. Or maybe it actually is that I have a little bit of post-traumatic stress from the fact that I just went through something really, really stressful. I'm just bored. All right, well, you're bored with me. If you're bored, maybe leave the live stream. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to bore you, but certainly we don't want you to be spamming in there. I love you. I love your Gorilla Tag Boy, but you know, we want to do good stuff here and deal with people. We don't want the people to leave because people are spamming in the chat. So cool. All right. Any last questions? Any thoughts? Any questions you guys have? Yeah, I might ask if Zane wants to do it. I might ask Federico. Federico, are you still there, by the way? If you're free later, maybe we could do a live stream. You know, my other issue is I'm getting so involved with doing these live streams that I kind of feel in some way I might be neglecting some of the other things that I need to be doing in my life. And I need to be careful. I think I'm going to leave this on that. Be careful when you find something else that you love to do, and make sure that it doesn't overtake your life to such an extent that you neglect the important things that you need to do in life. I have to work on some stuff from break diving. I've had to review a pull request for code for like 2 weeks, and I have not done it. I have wanted to fix some various other things with another company that I have. Make sure that a love that you have, like a new hobby, you don't neglect everything else. So on that note, no spamming, no cursing, no insulting, no bullying, and be smart on your words. I'll give you a thumbs up, Violetta. Good rules. And 7 thumbs up. Thank you. I don't understand. How do we get 7 thumbs up, but we only have 4 people in here? I guess that means somebody gave thumbs up before when they were not here. They gave a thumbs up, they left. Somebody else came here and took that person's place and gave a thumbs up. Then that person left. Yeah, you're giving a thumbs up. By the way, what does CLVR stand for? Is that something you can share publicly? If so, put it in the chat. If not, totally understand. And again, I'm learning about this live stream thing too. It's super weird that it started with 22, but we've had a steady 5-6 people here for the last 30 minutes. And I still think that's pretty impressive that we've got 5 people continuing to watch. All right, I'm going to sign off on this one today. C is my first name, Chance. L is my last name, Logan. And VR is because I have a VR, a virtual reality glasses. I was talking about that with other people too. I think that's pretty cool. I use the Apple Vision Pro. I think that's a very cool invention. And I hope I can get one of those one of these days soon. So that's cool, Chance Logan. That is an awesome name. That's a movie star name. That's a name that's destined for stardom. So I hope you will live up to your name, Chance Logan. Chance Logan VR. I don't want you to be Chance Logan superstar in virtual reality. I want you to be Chance Logan superstar in real life. He's giving a strange ghost who has got his mouth open. Great chatting with you guys. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for letting me talk to you about this strange event that happened to me today. I really appreciate you guys being there. And I hope you guys learned something as well. Hope you smiled. Hope you laughed. And catch you guys next time. Bye.